Most people think of AI as simply a content generator, and that's usually their first introduction to AI. It writes a blog article, it writes an email for you, or you see it in an application where it's right with AI. And rightly so, a lot of times the content looks just like it was written by AI. And I think there's a better way to think about AI and what it can do for you. The mistake that I see people coming in with is they have their past lived experiences with how they got information, and it's typically through search and videos, and they look at AI in the same way that they looked through the previous tools, which is that of a reference tool or getting information from search so you can go read an article. I want to challenge you to think differently about AI. The term that I use is intelligence on demand. That is what AI gives us. In every part of our lives, every day, there are things that we need to get done. And this usually requires thinking through a set of steps. We have to make a plan. And often we don't have those at the top of our mind and we get stuck or we just get hung up on where do I start this project? When you have an AI first mindset and think of AI as intelligence on demand, all of a sudden, all of those blockers, all of those constraints, they go away because you can use AI as a thinking partner. It changes how you solve a problem. It changes how you tackle a project. It changes how you take the next step. I want to give you some basic examples today of how I use AI as a thinking partner. And I'll give you one right now. One of the things I don't like to do is make these YouTube thumbnails. And mainly because I have to deal with pictures of me and make these funny poses, and I kind of feel silly when I do it. And I run out of ideas of what this should look like in terms of like these poses. So naturally I said, you know what, let's take my own advice and let's figure out a plan for how I can do this. So I came up with a prompt. The goal for me is I want to do these thumbnails. I'm going to get some help doing it, but I still need to take a bunch of pictures and I need to get some help doing that. And I need a list of all the different poses in order to do it. So I've given AI a little bit of context here about what I'm trying to do. And now I'm going to give it a very simple command about the type of help I need. I've got different type of poses, different type of expressions that I'm supposed to make in gestures, and the list goes on. So now I can take this and actually I'm going to trim it down because this is a lot, but I can take this and I've got a list and I can print this out on a piece of paper and even take a highlighter and say, these are the 10 different ones I want to do. Now, the steps that I was thinking about earlier, they're no longer occupying space in my mind, and it's no longer a problem to solve. I've got a list, I've got a plan, and that is all I had to do. So my big thinking actually came up in describing the situation that I was in and the help that I'm seeking. Now let's jump to a completely different topic and think about another way you could solve a similar problem. And instead of doing YouTube poses, let's talk about a dinner party, because as I record this, we're in November. I think we're going into the holiday season. And many of us are going to host dinner parties, Thanksgiving, all the other holidays. So you can see here, this idea of planning for a holiday dinner and asking AI to help make the plan and work backwards from the event is an easy way to put together a plan without spending a lot of time putting a list together manually. Here's what my empty prompt looks like. It's just, I'm hosting a dinner party and here's the number of guests, days until the event. So that's going to tell AI when it is so it can build a reverse timeline. And here's what everybody else is bringing and here's what we're bringing. So I actually built out an example one just to share with you and show how easy this is to get a jump in your thinking. And this isn't going to be the actual reverse timeline list that you'll want. You're going to refine this, but this is a starting point. I've talked about this before, but it's a lot easier to go into content from an editing perspective than it is to just generate something new. So I've got this robust planning list ordered in a reverse timeline, and it's going to help me think through all the things that may need to happen for this holiday dinner, Thanksgiving. There you have another example of how to do it. You may be wondering, I don't really know what else I could be using AI to help me with. Here's just a list of things that you could do that are normal, everyday things just to get some ideas. And you'll probably have 10 more of your own. Another way to use AI is to ask it for help. And how can I best use AI to help me make a plan or a list? And that's what I'm going to close with on this last example. Here's a all-purpose prompt that you could put in to help with your planning for anything. It's a generic prompt, but if you need help starting a project, this is an easy one to begin with. Help me make a detailed plan for, and then you type in your project type right there. It's going to generate a step-by-step strategy for you. You put in a few words to describe what you're going to get done, your big goals, the time frame, and any constraints. What does this look like in action? I just took one of those examples from that big list before, and one of them was a garage sale. So imagine you're planning a garage sale, and here's the scope. Trying to sell like 40 pieces of things I have in a house. And here's my main goal. I want to sell everything. I want to make some money. And I want to prioritize selling everything, even if I have to reduce the price, because I want to get rid of stuff. That's the goal. The sale's in 10 days, and I only want to do it one of the days. So this is an example of that all-purpose prompt put into action for this fictional garage sale. Imagine any type of event in your life or a project. Now you have a thinking partner in AI that can help you get stuff done. It can help you get started. And if you're stuck in a situation and you don't know what to do next, having this AI mindset and going to AI first and using it as your thinking partner and accessing this idea of intelligence on demand, that is a superpower for you. And as a matter of fact, that's a superpower for all of us. This is one of the reasons I feel so strongly that this technology is going to change our lives, because the more that we can utilize it to get things done more quickly, the opportunity cost of not taking action gets smaller and smaller, and we're able to unlock all that creativity that we have in our mind, that creative genius that is always there and just doesn't have a way to get out. I hope this is useful for you. Let me know how it's working out, and can't wait to see what you do with this new information. Take care.